Ian Murray, Theresa May made the point time and time again at Prime Minister's Question Time that her government was putting more money into the NHS, and your party at the last election said, no, we will not increase the budgets.
Well, that's not exactly what the Labour Party's position was, and Theresa May's not putting more money into the NHS. She talked about £1.3 billion for the NHS in England, but they're cutting £22 billion through what she would term efficiency savings. There's pressures, huge pressures on health and social care, both in Scotland and in England. It is completely devolved in Scotland, and we've just seen this week the report that shows that Scottish councils are underfunded to the tune of £553 million. That puts huge pressure on social care because it's delivered by local authorities, and that's why we went into the Scottish election back in May saying that we put income tax up by a little bit to put more money into local authority budgets, because it's social care, it's education, and it's providing that link between the NHS and social care that makes the system work. The only other thing to say is that Scotland has a much older population, and it's getting older much quicker than the rest of the UK, which puts additional pressures on health and social care in Scotland that have to be addressed.
Tommy Shepherd, obviously your party is in government in Scotland, so the buck stops with you. If there are problems with health, stroke, social care, or both of them in Scotland, it's going to end at your government's doorstep, isn't it?
Well, of course it is, and no one's complacent about this. There's a lot more to do, and we can almost never do enough. But I think it's disingenuous to suggest that things are the same north and south of the border in this one. I mean, I've seen English colleagues in the Chamber today in despair about the situation that they have in their local areas. A lot of English Conservatives were expecting there to be some movement in the autumn statement and more money to go into social care, and we're disappointed it didn't happen. And if you contrast the position where in Scotland the councils are being funded to bring in the actual living wage in terms of social care workers, with the situation in England where they haven't even got enough money to pay the minimum wage increase, and you can see the extent of the crisis. And I think John's right that it is not just about money, but it's about organisation as well. And I think one great step forward we've made is with the integration of the NHS and social care in Scotland, and I know certainly in my area in Edinburgh that's giving great dividends, but it needs more money as well. Of course,
15-minute care visits are unacceptable wherever you're in England or Scotland.
Now, I always
sorted. 15-minute care visits has to be sorted.
Ian Murray.
Well, in Scotland for the last few years, all we've done is lift the rug and put all the muck underneath the rug and put the rug back down and just hope that all these issues go away. We do need room to debate these issues. We need room to debate the fact that the Scottish Parliament is one of the most powerful of all parliaments in the world, so can make different choices to look after our elderly in dignity and retirement and to put money into education and services. That's what it's there for. But to go back to your original question, David, we do need a much more grown-up debate, not just about health and social care, but about everything that we do in politics. And there's no room for politicians to stand up and try and create that debate with ideas and an intellectual debate about the way forward, because if you say something that seems to be out of step, the media are on you as fast as they possibly can. It trashes the idea, and it means that we're not confident enough about bringing those ideas up again. Scotland's worse than the rest of the UK for that kind of environment at the moment, and it has to change.
Tommy Shepherd, the argument from the others seems to be that with power comes responsibility, and as far as the Scottish Parliament is concerned, with those extra tax-raising powers, you will not be able to say in future, we're not getting enough from Westminster.
Well, I'll answer that, but let me first answer the situation that we discussed today in the UK as a whole. And government is always about making choices, quite often difficult choices. There isn't enough money going into health and social care in England, and one of the reasons for that is because the government has chosen to cut business taxation, and it's going to reward people who are quite well off already because they own businesses. They'll be getting bigger dividends, they'll be paying less tax. Now that's a clear political choice, and I think it's the wrong one. So if we had a government that had its priorities right, we might not have this problem. In Scotland, yes, of course we have got some powers, but we don't have all of the powers. If we had the opportunity to control the Scottish economy and design a full taxation system that was based on the ability to pay and could make rich people pay more, I'd be in favour of doing that.
You can do that with income tax.
At the minute, Ian Murray is arguing that we should put up
income
tax for ordinary families in Scotland in order to cover the cost
tax policy
of Tory
was
tax cuts for the rich.
To reduce the very corporation tax.
And that seems to be a ridiculous political situation, even though Ian keeps interrupting me and won't let me make the point.
Well, of course I will interrupt you, because you have the powers to do it. And you wanted to reduce corporation tax by 3 pence.
Ian Murray first, and then...
Well, look, you asked the question about whether we have the opportunity to have a debate, and we've just seen the problem with that. The SNP's policy was to reduce corporation tax by 3 pence less than George Osborne, and then scrapped it. Well, you're very good at talking about powers you don't have. They have the powers to design an income tax system that's brand new tomorrow.
That's not true.
It went through today. They refused to do it because they don't want to take the responsibility for it.